It's Friday, and Canadian media is garbage. Here, I'll do their work for them. I'll show you some of the truth behind these headlines that they somehow totally miss. First off, some context. We are not getting the whole story. You know that. I know that. The data tells us that. The Bank of Canada says that it and other central banks are not responsible for inflation. However, just after the pandemic, our foreign currency reserve went through the roof. That money came from somewhere. And recently, Canada became the 5th largest holder of U.S. federal debt. We can't pay for healthcare, but we can pay for U.S. federal debt. We are right behind Luxembourg. I'll get back to that in a second. First, Warren Buffett made a very interesting point. He was saying how corporate taxes need to go up because corporations are not paying their fair share. What does he mean by their fair share? His company paid $5 billion in federal taxes, and if 800 other companies had done the same, no other person in the United States would have had to pay a dime. Do you understand what that says? If corporations paid their fair share in taxes in the United States, U.S. citizens would not be paying income tax. Amazon is one of the worst offenders here. They've gone through many years where they've paid zero in taxes. You know Amazon, totally not profitable at all. Imagine how much tax is being avoided when no person in the United States would have to pay income tax if the corporations paid their fair share. What about Canada? Tax-avoiding Canadian companies transferred $120 billion to Luxembourg. There's Luxembourg again. Of course, this is not the entire list. This is just a few companies and one country. Luxembourg, eh? 653,000 people in 2022. That's not a very big country. An agricultural-focused economy. Milk, wheat, wine, cereals. The biggest crops in Luxembourg are wheat and spelt. Spelt. Must be a lot of money in spelt. Luxembourg is also known for banking and being a tax haven. Luxembourg is 650,000 people, yet they have the capacity to hold more U.S. federal debt than we do. I'll give you one example of how companies in Canada can avoid being taxed in Canada. Licensing agreements. Yeah, a lot of companies that are foreign companies, they operate in Canada, but they pay a licensing fee back to their home office. That licensing fee tends to be all of their profit. So please, tell me again how a dude with a cottage is one of the wealthiest Canadians and not paying his fair share. Could it be that this neoliberal media is trying to trick you into thinking that it's best that we were all poor? It's best if the government provided you with everything you needed. See, the housing crisis is not rooted in a supply and demand issue as commonly framed by government officials. And that's true, I agree. It's not really a supply and demand problem. Let's follow up that truth with a whole bunch of bullshit. That way, you'll believe that this next paragraph is true because this first paragraph was true. Let me read you the paragraph. Despite having the fewest housing starts in Canada last year, not good for supply, the number of residential units built in the last decade still surpassed growth of households, but empty units are still out of reach for many due to skyrocketing rents. Let's check on those empty units in Quebec. From the CMHC Rental Market Report, here are the empty units in Montreal. Purpose-built rentals, 1.5%. Condominium apartments, 1.3%. And I will remind you, 3 to 5 is what's necessary for a healthy rental market. So, well below what's necessary for a healthy rental market. Yeah, that's not a lot of empty units, just so you know. But maybe things are better in Quebec City. No, they're not. 0.9% in purpose-built rentals and 0.9% in condominiums. Just so you know, that's well into the crisis range. What's the solution from these advocates? Government assistance. More government. Get more government involved. Government's the problem. Do we need social housing for some people? Yeah, absolutely. There are many people out there that need assistance, that simply, no matter what, will never be able to earn enough money to take care of themselves. It could be a physical issue. It could be a mental issue. It could be a caretaker. Is there a need for social housing? Yes, but it is not the solution for regular people. The solution is to allow regular people to make some money, to tax the corporations who are making money off the abundance of Canada. What's the CRA doing? Oh, they're going after the low-hanging fruit, the small businessman, the person that might have cheated a little bit on their tax. Taxes that people may not even have to pay if corporations paid their fair share.